Do you have a favorite artist?
A favorite
I should say
artist.
musical artist.
Whoa. Wow. Well, years ago it used to be Weezer.
Yeah.
That is not the case anymore. But I'm trying to think. Like,
why ever not?
Well, because they kept doing albums and they weren't good
They did
anymore.
keep doing albums.
They weren't
did
good.
That. No, that's the problem. That's exactly what was wrong. They kept
weren't-
doing albums.
They weren't good anymore. They stopped being good.
Well,
you know.
good.
I think the Red album is the last one that I purchased,
Oh, man, yeah.
and you know, like Pork and Beans on that was like okay, and just the vast majority of that album was just not that great. I don't know that I do presently. I like Lizzo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see just classic The Beatles. I mean, how could you not like the Beatles?
Mm-hmm.
Grew up with the Beatles.
Some people don't like the Beatles.
Yeah, I know, but I love the Beatles.
Some people eat other human beings. So it's just all about taste.
Whoa.
Sometimes literally.
That got really dark.
Well, so
really
does the
fast.
music of Fiona Apple, one of my favorite artists.
Yes.
I don't know if she's my favorite artist, but gosh, she's got to be,
there?
at the party. And she has an album that came out recently, her 5th studio album, I believe. Only
Okay.
5 studio albums in a
kinda hard to
20-year
believe.
career. Yeah. And the album's called Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and it is it's pretty much classic Fiona.
Okay.
And so I'm here to
Well,
put my stamp of approval on it.
All right. I mean, I loved her
As I
first
start
album.
to criticize it.
Uh-oh. What's up with that?
Well, her first album is probably her most radio-friendly
Sure.
album, right?
Sure. For better, for worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then every album after that has been, I think, she had a meteoric rise, and you can't even call it a fall. I mean, Weezer had a slow, long fall, but
Some
she's
people
just
still like 'em, though. I don't
yeah.
know.
She's somebody who was immediately put to the front of the class in the music business.
Yes.
And then, through her own actions, was sort of thrown out of that, but also kind of you can't fire me, I quit.
Yeah.
And
I
then
could
just
see
continued to make albums and songs and music that were universally credited as being successful. And they still let her make albums, so they must
that. Right.
cover themselves financially. They must succeed in that way. I don't have her sales numbers, but she's kind of just done what she has wanted to do.
Right.
And that's why there's only 5 albums. And this is a good album, and I think that it's kind of classic. She's still got it, Fiona, but there's an aspect of it that frustrates me.
What's that?
And it's something that basically made me stop listening to music all throughout the 2000s, or at least the second half of the 2000s, and a lot of the teens too, which is I feel like lyricism has really taken a backseat to every other part of
Making music.
making music and popular music. And there's a thing that a lot of these like folky bands do, and just, I don't know, pick your random personality, musical artist. It's like this, they get to the chorus, and the chorus is just them repeating the same phrase
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
8 to 16 times.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they do it.
Or why
except for
that's
just a dearth
music now.
of lyrical ability. Yeah. But I think that it might have started with, well, we're popular, but we're not good lyricists, but we succeed anyway. And then other people kind of pick it up, and now everybody's got a sweater and a guitar, and they would probably say it's sort of a chant. It's sort of a, the idea of the music sort of repeats itself, and the lyrics are repeating itself as well, and it all is sort of, and I'm just like, yeah, but also look at every average rapper has to say 5 times the words in a song than anybody else would do in any regular song.
Yeah.
And rap is exploding and is the number one music in the country. So and Fiona has never ever had a problem with her lyricism is stands next to her musicality.
Absolutely.
As twin pillars of her work.
Yeah.
But I was listening to this most recent album, and I had 4 or 5 tracks in, and I kind of just went, I'm going to come back and listen to it later, because I just felt like if anybody did the sort of like chanting thing that, this my straw man argument person was claiming, it would be her. She understands rhythms and, the complexities of sort of, evoking a mood, not just with music, but with words, but also possibly with the repetition of words. But she just had a couple songs that were just, boo-ba-da-boo, 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 same thing over and over again. And I was like, ugh.
So you're like kind of let down by that.
Well,
you're used to more complexity from her.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to it 4 or 5 times and I'll be, on board, Kool-Aid drank. But yeah, I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. You don't want... You want the artist that you love to continue to challenge you and like...
Well, she's challenging me.
Well, that's true. But you want them to do things that continue your interest in them. You don't want to get bored with them or start thinking, is this any good? Like I did with Weezer. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm totally listening to it, and it's just a direction. It's a choice that she's making, and I know that all of her directions are choices. She's never just put into something. Pork and Beans was popular and, had a viral video, a literally viral video connected to it. And so Weezer's like, well, we're a good time jam band now. Because the one choice that we made on this album was doing a riff on a Shaker hymn or something like that. And everyone's like, no, thanks. So now we're just going to do an entire album of like covering Toto or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't consider that to be a choice. I consider that to be a lack of choice. Like they don't have any options.
Right.
Smash Mouth is just a Disney in-house Disney
band
cover band now. Yeah, right. And she continues to have choices. This is absolutely a choice. But it's like, did you have to go Christian Dylan? you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely the best Christian music I've ever heard. But let's get back to Street Legal or sort of like that.
Okay.
So she's going somewhere that I don't know if I can follow.
I see.
But I know she'll be back.
Okay. All right.
So, anyway, fetch the bolt cutters. Check it out.
All right. Sounds good.
I don't know if I just sold an album or not. But...
I think you did.
Yeah, I mean, if you like her, you're definitely going to love her. But also the problem is that, like, just reacquainting myself with her music, the event of there being a new album from her has sent me back to all of her other music. And so I've been listening to all that as well, and it's just been...
very Fiona-centric.
Fiona-centric.
Yeah.
We should rename the title of this show. Fiona-centric. Stop fake laughing.
I'm not fake laughing.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
That's your vamp laugh.
No, it's not.
The secret is out.
No.
That was, methinks the lady protests not enough.
Whatever.
You're going to be talking today, or what's the deal?
I am talking.
What's the plan?
I am talking.
The plan for me is to tell people that this is the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And the plan is also to talk about the news.
Yes.
And to do something weird.
Sure.
Vamp laugh.
No, it's not.
Is to talk about a TV show that has started 11 years ago and has been off the air for at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but just came to Netflix this month.
Wow.
Yeah. What?
Strike 2.
What? Why strike 2?
We're just going to let everybody behind the curtain. Hey, we're stuck inside and we can't do anything, so we're going to talk about the show that just came out on streaming that everybody's watching.
Wow.
You tell about my hair is fake too?
No.
And I got lifts in my shoes.
Your hair isn't fake. What?
I don't have much hair.
You don't have a lack of hair. You're not going bald or anything like that. Yes.
That was me knocking on the table.
Yes. I hear you.
Okay. Well, I guess it takes 2 to make a bad show. So let's try to pick it up.
Okay.
As we talk about the news. So far, so good. Hey, news continues.
Yes.
You can't stop it.
No, you can't.
And speaking of TV shows, a lot of people were excited that Leverage is getting a reboot.
Yeah. Good for Leverage, I guess.
Whoa.
What I just don't have any strong feelings about it. Really, I'm not really into Leverage, but yeah, cool. What? I'm trying to stay positive.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is going to be shorter than I thought it was. Yeah, it's getting rebooted. It's being produced by IMDb TV.
What? I didn't know that was a thing.
So
okay.
I guess we'll know how old all the actors are, or not.
Right. Know what other?
Didn't that lady
projects they've
sue
been in.
IMDb for putting her age?
Whoa.
I can't remember if she
I
won
don't
or
know.
not, but
Huh.
anyway, the takeaway from this is that Timothy Hutton will not be returning.
Yes.
Because people love this show, and I'm like, I couldn't watch Timothy Hutton for 5 years. I just couldn't take that. But now I won't have to. I can watch Noah Wyle instead.
Yes. Yes. Has Noah Wyle done much besides like TV stuff? He's pretty much a TV guy. Isn't
Done a
he?
ton of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
He is the perfect bland leading man for whatever you need.
Noah Wyle.
So he was in like The Librarians, you know,
Right.
it was like a B series. He was in Falling Skies, which, sorry,
Oh.
NBC, was a B series.
That's right.
He's just, you can stick him in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's the, let's get this right, David Brenner or Brennan.
Oh,
They're
boy,
both people.
I don't know.
David
Yeah.
Brenner, let's say,
Uh-huh.
of basing your TV show main characters.
Sure. I think that's probably a good choice. I mean, I think we don't want to see Timothy Hutton in this role again.
I want to see him in court.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I know. So, I think good on them that they picked Noah Wyle instead.
Yeah.
So,
In other TV news, Marvel has a TV section still, although they're not
Yeah.
really producing anything.
Mm.
And they have canceled 2 overall deals with some showrunners that they had lined up for
Yes.
going ahead for whatever form that takes,
Mm-hmm.
Hulu or wherever it's going to show up, Disney Plus, I guess. And that is with the showrunner from Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
who was ostensibly working on something Punisher related, who will not be doing it anymore. That's Steve Lightfoot. And then the other guy is Paul Zabeski, who was working on the Hellstrom series, which,
right.
let's face it, when they announced Hellstrom, Wildcat or whatever, or Howard the Duck, like these were all
Right, right.
real like Z-list characters,
Right.
And they all seemed real iffy as to whether they would ever
Yes.
be seen or not.
Actually
And so it looks
be
like Hellstrom will not.
Yes. I'm not terribly surprised by this. Didn't they have a Ghost Rider show for a while too that they were gonna do,
No,
and they
that got
canceled
canceled.
that
Yep.
before too?
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel kind of bad for those showrunners not being able to do their deals, but I think it's probably a product of COVID-19 and not being able to go into production.
Sure, and doing like a Marvel movie can get you places. Doing a Marvel TV show, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't
Maybe,
hurt.
yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Right.
As far as jobs go, it's always good to get working for Marvel. It's
Yeah.
something good to have in the resume, but these
Right.
guys are going to land on their feet. There's so many TV shows, and there's
Yeah.
IMDb's making a Leverage reboot, so these guys will be fine. But if you were looking for a Hellstrom series, you're out of luck. If you're looking for a series about raising the Antichrist, look no farther than FX, which has ordered an animated pilot from producer Dan Harmon, not writer or director, but producer Dan Harmon, starring Danny DeVito and Aubrey Plaza,
Yes.
raising the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So somebody watched Good Omens and went,
Right.
I'm a huge producer. I can do that.
Yeah, right. Stand aside. Let me through. I can make this happen. Yeah. Good Omens. What is the movie? Is it just, what is it called? Where they're raising the Antichrist and he like pushes his mom.
The Omen?
The Omen.
This
yeah.
will be funny.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be funny.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Good Omens, but even funnier. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how it works out.
Great.
Looks like the Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland will be doing a Star Wars series at Disney
Yes.
Plus. We have no details on it other than it will ostensibly be a female-centric show and will not, as far as we know, spin off from anything else. This will be
Right.
Something original, something, in some corner of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and I've heard like people speculating because that's what fans like to do. Like, is this gonna maybe be about what's her name?
Could be anything.
Shukasan.
Ahsoka Tano?
Yes. Or
Well,
is
she'll
it
be on The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, I know. Or is it going to be a Dr. Afra TV series?
Could be interesting. They have not reached into the comic books for any film things yet, have they? For any live action stuff?
I don't think so.
So that's why I would say no, and I would say it would more likely be
something completely new.
An Ayla Secura or an Aura Singh or maybe a Mara Jade or something like that.
I think there are a couple people who are hoping it's Mara Jade. I have a good...
It's almost like, nice work, Disney. Nice work. Huh. Let's just declare all the books non-canon and then have a trilogy that just falls right on its ass and nobody wants any of those stories to continue.
Right.
And then now we just go rooting around through the dumpster where we threw out all those boxes of books out.
I know. I have a good friend from college who's a huge Star Wars fan who is very much into Mara Jade, so I think she'd be like super duper excited for that to happen. But yeah.
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 Bad girl.
Bad girl?
The 90s, there was an uptick of strong female characters whose only, defining characteristics were that they were just basically male characters with boobs and long hair.
Yeah.
But they were badasses.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kick a guy off a building. I don't care.
Right.
And I'll marry Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what it's going to be.
All right. We're going to get through this together.
Yeah.
I promise.
Uh-huh.
Looks like Fraggle Rock is going to get a reboot at Apple.
Okay. I'm sorry. I try not to... I'm not super excited about anything Apple.
You think Quibi had the greatest idea ever. 10-minute long shows.
Yeah.
Well, move over, Quibi. Because we're going down to Fraggle Rock. So Fraggle Rock,
wow.
Rock on.
Mm-hmm.
Every episode will be 3 to 5 minutes long.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
And it's the first episode's available right now on Apple Plus.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, I loved Fraggle Rock as a kid, so I don't know. Maybe if they can kind of recapture some of that magic. I hope it's puppets. I don't know. Then maybe that would be kind of cool. I mean, it sounds kind of like they're looking for something that's going to be super digestible, like YouTube videos, but it could work. I don't know. But yeah, I'm all for it only if it's puppets, though. So I don't want to see any CGI, or I'm not exactly as excited about an animated version.
They did a cartoon, didn't they?
I think they might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, anyways.
Well, let's talk about Netflix.
Let's.
They have unveiled some viewership numbers for some of their big series right now.
Okay.
Which is very rare. They don't do this.
Right.
But they're kind of doing a victory lap. And the thing is that I don't know if this was all information from a letter to investors.
Okay.
And I don't know how to really... how to quantify this information because
we don't have anything else to base it on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could base it with viewership for other things, but it's like they give you information, but it's also like, well, that still doesn't really tell us a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, apparently Money Heist, which I always see the picture of and laugh at because what?
Right.
What heist? What are you going to heist? You're going to heist money,
right?
But then I looked for something else to watch. It has been seen by 65 million households. Now, is that America? Is that internationally?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
The Witcher has been seen by 76 million households.
Well, yeah. That's probably one of their most popular, if not their most popular series to date.
Yes.
From what I've heard.
Yes. And Tiger King has been seen by 34 million people, unique viewers, they're saying. So I don't know how that compares to households.
Right.
But by 34 million unique viewers in the first 10 days of its release.
Yeah, I can believe that also.
And over the course of its life on the platform, it has accumulated 5.3 billion streaming minutes. Again,
yeah.
How many minutes in the show?
Right.
Divide those up among the 34 million people.
Right.
These numbers don't they don't mean anything to me.
Yeah. Exactly. I guess that's just supposed to be enticing to investors.
Right, but are the investors just like, oh, those are big numbers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's some money.
And do the investors, like, are they used to seeing numbers for Netflix and they're just publishing this for some reason for the public? You know what I mean? Like, is this something that
I don't know. I read
quantify?
it on Deadline. So.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know. All right. Yeah. I mean, we know that those are popular. I mean, I guess I hadn't heard about Money Heist, but sure.
Check out that Money Heist. Maybe they'll do an American remake.
An American remake
Heist.
of Money Heist? Sure. Why not?
And call it...
what would you call it instead of Money Heist?
Getting Away with Money.
Okay.
Not that. One more news item for TV. Westworld has been renewed for season 4, which I thought it had already been renewed for season 4,
okay.
but it will be coming back for a 4th season. They'll continue to be able to tell their very simplistic story.
That's somewhat predictable.
Yeah, I was real excited about season 3 of Westworld, and it has proven to be
the first
about
2 episodes were super good.
About as bad and dumb as the first 2, but that's okay.
The first 2 episodes were really good. I thought season 1 of Westworld was really good, and I think parts of last year were, or not last year, the second season were good, and then parts of it weren't. No.
Well,
just kind of more of a miss for you than a hit.
It's not even cowboys anymore. Like,
I know it's
now
not.
it's just a general future-esque show where people kind of are dumb and act out of character. So
and
it's not because
kill
they're
somebody if
malfunctioning.
If like their character is just there's no more story for you, like the
character
like
from
Liam
the first
character.
Oh, what?
The kid who Dolores had a relationship.
Okay, let's not spoil
with...
this terrible show for people.
All right.
I thought you were talking about the lady from the first season who was a very famous actress from Sweden.
Oh.
Probably the best actress on the show. And they're like, well, you're 42, can't do anything and you won't do any nude scenes, so goodbye. You're gone.
Whoa, I don't even remember. So
I'm just amazed they brought the Hemsworth brother back.
Yeah.
The short Hemsworth.
Yeah, and he's been some of your favorite parts of the season.
Yeah, but he's been like designed to be. Because he doesn't really have an arc, so they're like, well, I'll give him all the good lines.
Yeah.
Let's talk movies. Of course, a lot of these movies, or movies that we are anticipating, have been pushed back because of the situation. One of those movies is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange 2 has been pushed back to March of 2022.
Yeah.
And it does look like the ink is all but dry on Sam Raimi being involved in this film.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'm not happy about that, but, what are you going to do? And it will be interesting to see that what a distinctive filmmaker who has such a unique voice that is particular to his own idiom, what that'll look like coming out the other side of the Marvel machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not going to be any POV shots or any fish islands close-ups or any of that in this. It would be like, no, Sam, we're not doing that.
Right.
This would be like Joss Whedon taking over a Zack Snyder movie. It'd be like, well, I can't tell that this is Joss Whedon.
Right.
Is that a good example, or is that more like Ron Howard taking over Solo?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know which one it is. I just feel like Doctor Strange has all this potential as like for storytelling, and it could go in a lot of different directions. And I'm just not that excited about seeing where Sam Raimi is going to take it. Now, I know he's not writing it.
Oh, no, he's not taking it anywhere. That's kind of my point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's just sort of at the till
helm.
here.
Yeah, I know.
But it's already written and done and prevised, and they built all the props and sets. And so the only thing he could add would be Ted Raimi and maybe a weird shot or two.
Do you think he's going to add like Bruce Campbell somehow?
Well, I want to know. I'm more interested in why Scott Derrickson walked away or was fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know why he walked away.
I didn't love the first Doctor Strange, but I thought it was, fine and fit into kind of what they were doing, and whatever that was in the first film was not good enough, I guess, for this film.
Do you think because I know he has like a background in horror, do you think he wanted to take the second one kind of more in that direction?
He always talks about it being scary or wanting to make it scarier, but Sam Raimi's got a background in horror.
That's true too.
Pretty much all he's done until
A
Simple Plan or whatever. So.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has also been pushed back from April to October of 2022, and the Spider-Man Far From Home sequel has been delayed as well. We don't have a final date for that, I don't think.
Okay.
And it looks like the Uncharted movie, speaking of Tom Holland, has been pushed from October 21st, October 8th, 2021, from its summer date.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's probably fine, right?
I guess.
I mean,
the less we talk about that film, the better.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't
excite
What do you want to say about it?
Yeah, I know. The cast. We already talked about this. Like the casting
we're
seems
failing
like
at
weird.
Pretending like we're interested. In
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
And I blame you.
Hey.
The Mission Impossible films have also been pushed back. If anybody cares. I mean, clearly people care. They make a ton of money, but
yeah.
And the last one was not very good.
Oh, have we seen the last one yet?
What I just do?
You did a punching one too.
I just reloaded my arms.
Oh yeah, right.
Now imagine I have a big mustache.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. No.
That was not as good as Rogue Nation.
No, it wasn't. But
the seventh film will come out November 2021. The eighth will come out for November 2022. So what are they doing over there?
That they have two
Is this
films?
like a Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions or something? They're shooting them back to back.
I remember hearing that, what's her name? Haley Atwell. Isn't she going to be in both of them?
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see like what role she's going to play in that. I hope she kicks butt and she's not just like a
Can she do any
love interest?
Any else?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, because they already sent Michelle Monaghan to a farm upstate to run and play with other 40-year-old actresses. So
whoa. Yeah.
Maybe Rebecca Ferguson is on the way out. Tommy.
Who knows?
Tommy. Let's try an age-appropriate co-lead, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I know.
1/2 + 7, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't like that we have to do that kind of math.
No talking in the birthing chamber. Looks like Venom, Let There Be Carnage is the... It's just like, that's a first draft, right?
Wow.
The sequel to the original Venom has been pushed from October 2nd of this year. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
To June of next year. That's
probably a better place for it, don't you think?
Remember, Andy Serkis is directing it.
Oh, that's right. That's weird. That's weird.
I
mean, he's a great actor, but has he directed anything else?
That Jungle Book movie they did not do well.
Oh,
I think that's.
cool.
I think that might be it.
Okay.
Do you think that Woody Harrelson will be Cletus Cassidy for the live action parts, and then when he turns into Carnage, it'll be Andy Serkis? There's a precedent for this. In the Ang Lee Hulk, Ang Lee was the motion capture actor for the Hulk.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I didn't realize that.
I mean, one of them. I'm sure they used more than one, but
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised, especially all his motion capture experience.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What if he does Carnage and like Venom motion capture?
Well, that's Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do my own.
Yeah, okay. All right. You're right.
No, right, look, it's like this, right? You go, I'm a Carnage, I'm a Carnage. No, you go like this. I'm a Venom.
They try to see who has the most outrageous voice while in mocap.
I don't think they know that they're in that contest, but they are.
They totally are.
Yeah. Sony, don't sigh. Sony, just when I hear the name,
yeah,
is developing a film based on One Punch Man.
Okay.
With the writers of Venom.
Okay. Is it going to be animated or is it going to be live action? Do we have any idea?
Well, it's going to be produced by Avi Arad, who is just, wow. Avi Arad and Satan.
Whoa.
Both very successful after having been thrown out of a franchise and starting their own, right?
Wow. I guess I'm not that
Satan
familiar with Avi.
He was the original producer of Marvel films, Spider-Man,
Was
even
he
going
really?
back to probably, the Corman era Fantastic Four stuff.
Ooh.
Okay. What's his name? Salinger's kid, Captain America. Like, he was the guy that was in charge of... He was the Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige was his assistant for a while.
Oh,
and then
okay.
for whatever reason, probably money, he sort of got tossed out, but now he's producing... he stayed with Sony, and he does the Spider-Man stuff still.
Okay.
And I'm sure his name was on Venom.
Probably. Okay. Wow. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with One Punch Man. I know it's super popular.
100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups. It's something else every day.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
He's got his own exercise regimen.
Meta, I don't know when Meta first hit manga and anime, but it's there to stay now. And everything is a deconstruction of, giant robo or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
Which is fine,
Yeah.
but this is, it's a deconstruction of superhero tropes. And so he exists in a world where he is a superhero, but kind of a crappy one. Only, his gimmick is crappy. He
gets one punch
wears a
or
dish towel.
something?
He defeats everybody with one punch.
Oh.
And so you go, well, how do you make that work?
Right.
And from what I understand, they kind of do in the Dragon Ball Z-ish way. Everybody he fights is successively tougher and tougher until he's fighting like a planet or something, and he always defeats them with one punch. That's his move. So he never really punches them until the end of the fight when he gets them into a situation and he punches them and then they die.
Okay. All right. Well, but
it's like that sounds good.
Yeah.
Can you keep it going for more than one season? And the answer is they couldn't, because apparently the second season sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
But now it has a chance to have a sequel that sucks.
Oh, boy.
In live action.
Yeah.
I never got your answer. I don't know the answer to the question.
Okay. All right.
Chris Pine is going to star in a Paramount... There's another sire. Paramount reboot of The Saint.
I don't think I've actually seen the original The Saint. Are you writing something down?
Buy bullets?
No.
No, The Saint is Roger Moore plays Simon Templar. He is a thief, but he's a good guy. It's a TV show. It's a Mission Impossible thing. He tricks wrongdoers, and fights for good and all that.
Okay,
He's a master of disguise.
So it's a TV show.
Yeah, and it was a Val Kilmer movie as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which we'll be watching in concert with this when it comes out.
Okay, sure.
So 2022, can't wait.
Right. Put it on your calendar.
Do you think he read for the Chips movie or was like, I'm not even going to bother?
Chris Pine?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Because his dad was on Chips?
Yeah, or maybe
because other than that,
no.
I just feel like Chris Pine is, for a movie star, he's a real good TV star.
Whoa.
He seems to be in a lot of these films that are adaptations of TV things, doesn't he?
I guess. Yeah.
He's got a real TV star face for a movie star. Or something. I don't know. I just feel like he's above this. I think he'll be good for this, but he's above this.
You think so? You think this is a step down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's an action movie sort of thing, so... I don't know.
I guess if you think Chris Pine can do funny voices, then get that cream out of your jeans because it's going to happen.
Wow.
Batman is moving to fall of 2021.
Okay.
So you're going to wait for that?
Of course. Well, we're just waiting for everything.
If you can wait. Yeah. Everything is pushed everything back.
Yeah.
Although something has to be in the theaters on April 27th when they open in Georgia.
Yep. I read something that the AMC specifically said that they will not reopen their theaters unless they have something new to show.
Good.
So Yeah.
But I mean, that's just that's kicking the ball down the road to the movie producers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the story is like, what are they going to show when they open? Are they going to open? That sort of thing. Are they going to show old movies like in Georgia?
Oh, well, I guess it's not up to, Georgia doesn't have a state-run movie theater business. It's like every other state, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not going to open them anywhere else, they're not going to open in Georgia.
Probably. Yeah.
I guess I should have read this story. If I didn't know you were going to really dive in on this.
Sorry.
I'm just saying that. Okay, all right. Anyway, we're bad at this. What else is going on?
Wow. I don't know.
I'm ready. I'm about ready to give up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just not a night for this, huh?
I don't know.
Whenever we do a live show, it's just, I swear to God, our shows aren't edited and we've done some great shows, but they're not edited to edit out the fact that we clearly don't want to do it. But I think that we're just here and we just don't want to do it tonight.
I don't think that.
That's what I'm getting.
I don't think that's true.
Prove it.
Wow. How do I prove it?
Well, you were so convinced that it wasn't true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true, but I don't know how to prove it, so...
Might as well be true then.
Oh, wow.
A couple more stories. How about some YA? You like that?
Sure.
Netflix is going to produce Millie Bobby Brown's Enola Holmes film. This is the story of Enola Holmes, the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes. And she gets into some wacky adventures.
Because, of course, she does. Okay. I don't know. I think, is this her original idea or something like that?
No, it's a YA novel.
It's a YA novel. Okay,
series,
that's why you brought it up. Okay. Sure. Netflix loves Millie Bobby Brown. She
shouldn't have loved Netflix.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I think she could do fun and quirky. Sure, why not? So, what?
See my previous comments about maybe not wanting to do this. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
What is that?
That's the prequel to the Hunger Games. And it's going to happen
right.
at Lionsgate. These are both Lionsgate films. Oh, no, sorry. The first one was Legendary. This one's Lionsgate. So both not good. I just feel like it's all garbage from Legendary and Lionsgate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, this film will be coming out. And remember, this is a story of how President Snow became President Snow.
Yeah.
Turns out, not so. This rich white guy, not so bad.
Yeah,
Victim
I know,
of circumstance.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why
tell
now?
this story?
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Remember in the late 60s when all that political turmoil was happening and there was a bunch of films about how the guy with the buzz cut, in the gabardine suit, like hey man, he's just doing his best.
Mm-hmm.
Why would these hippies be nice to him?
Right.
Remember all those films?
Uh-huh. Why are we doing that now?
We weren't doing it then. Just to make sure you get the point. We weren't doing it then.
Okay.
Some of the most important films of the counterculture movement came out at that time.
Mm-hmm. What? Okay. Yes.
No, I'm just clarifying my earlier point. So
okay.
if you want to rebut that this is the time.
I don't want to rebut.
That is going on your gravestone.
Wow. Okay.
Here she lies.
Wow.
She didn't want to rebut.
Hey.
She'll take her answer off the air.
Oh my goodness.
It's not as far as like, see, when I go, it seems like you don't want to do this. And you're like, I do. And I go, do you have any comments? No. That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Sorry.
Well,
I just don't know why.
Speaking of gravestones, great. Okay,
Wow.
we ruined my awesome transition.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Speaking of why what?
I don't understand why anybody cares about President Snow, period.
Because he's played by Donald Sutherland, although he won't be as a kid.
Yeah, I like Donald Sutherland, but like...
You do?
Yeah, I think he's a good actor. But,
what's your favorite Donald Sutherland movie?
Probably Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, okay.
But...
What's mine?
What's yours? Oh, boy.
No, now you do want to contribute, but it's more polite to, say,
what's yours? Sorry.
That's okay. A Time to Kill. So let's move on here. I got one more story. I won't use my transition from before, but it's because it's sad, and we should be sad now. Michael Mantlo, the brother of Rocket Raccoon creator and Cloak and Dagger, ton of things creator, Bill Mantlo has passed away.
Yes.
He has died. And this is significant because he was a really nice guy, but it's also because he is and has been Bill's main caretaker since 1992.
Yeah, when he was in a serious car accident.
30 years. It was he was hit by a car.
Yeah.
But he was like rollerblading or something like that. It's not
funny.
But it just makes it more tragic because he's just out having fun.
Yeah.
And so, his career was cut short, and he's in a situation where he needs basically, constant care. Mm-hmm. And Michael supported him.
Yeah.
Took care of him. He was involved in basically, doing fundraisers. But this is before, GoFundMe. Like, he was doing fundraisers for his care. He was instrumental in basically solidifying the connection between, because you hear like we talk to Chris Claremont and we go, hey, did you see the Days of Future Past movie? And he's like, I bought a ticket. It's like, you have to buy a ticket to they owe you everything. You should be making 50% on this deal. And he basically like got Bill in touch, or his estate in touch with Marvel over the Guardians thing, and got him like a nice big check, basically, which Marvel did not have to do, and they did, and I'm sure they did it for PR purposes, but the fact is they did it.
Right.
And they gave him
it's a great story.
A nice royalty, that took care of his care. So it's sad that he passed, but it's sad too. I hope that Bill has support.
Yeah, and people are like, well, who's going to take care of him now? And I mean, we don't know. Matt had a wife. Michael, sorry. Yeah. Has a wife, so maybe she will take care of Bill. I don't know, but I don't know how,
Right. So I'm getting to it. So we will, when we know more, we'll let you know so you can help out if you choose to. In the meantime, you can always go to the Bill Mantlo Support Fund, which is ongoing, which you can find at his website, billmantlo.com, MANTLO. You can always go there and chip in and help him out. But I mean, that's not great.
No, it's not. It's upsetting, and I don't think he was all that old either. So.
He wasn't young.
Well, okay.
He wasn't young.
Yeah.
These guys were in their 30s, 30 years ago. So
yeah, all right.
Yeah. I don't know his specific health issues, but it's sad.
It is sad
and hard to transition out of.
Yes, it's not funny.
When's Rocket going to get that solo film?
Oh, that's a good question. That should. I'd totally watch a Rocket solo film.
That's some Disney Plus right there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you got the assets.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all the computer files and stuff for both him and Groot. Right.
Yeah.
Sean Gunn will do the mocap.
Sure.
The biggest expense would just be getting Bradley Cooper to do a couple lines, right?
Yeah.
I think Vin Diesel will probably charge you out the ass too. But but you can get them both.
Yeah, you could.
And then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can bring Taserface back or whatever. You can just, you just throw something kind of goofy together.
Oh, yeah, that'd be totally
Have Gunn
fun.
produce it.
Yeah. I mean, just have them do, like, they basically did, when they were on their own, didn't they basically, they were basically like bounty hunters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have them do,
you're doing a prequel.
Well, I don't know. That's what I was thinking, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you could do it after the films, and then it's like, is Groot still a teenager? I don't know.
Yeah, do prequel.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we get classic Rocket and Groot.
Yeah. Right.
So they're just they're going around, they're busting heads, and you get some of his backstory in there because we'll never ever have time to explore this in the films, right? So you go back to Half World or whatever and have him kind of. Because when he comes into he's in this existential crisis, in Guardians 1 and 2.
Right.
about his identity, but we don't ever explore it. But we also don't say that it is at what point on the timeline of him dealing with this he is.
Right.
So he could have in Guardians 0 or -1 gone to Half-World and dealt with that, learned a little bit about his origins, and now as Guardians 1 opens, he's having fun and busting heads, but in the back of his mind he's thinking like, so I'm like a weird thing that they made to like take care of mental patients or what. It's weird stuff.
Okay, you're right.
Rocket Raccoon series. We'll read that someday for the show.
All right.
Here's your title. Heroes of the Half-World.
Ooh.
Turtle power. Okay, we don't have rights to this because they'll instantly copy strike us. You got to help me out. You give me some rope, time into dreams, give me the booze, I'm gonna be. I can't.
Yeah, the Chinese fortune thing.
Oh, is it a Chinese fortune thing? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
You got a lot of fortunes in China.
Wow.
How racist was your grade school?
Wow. Wow. The fortune teller
segregated
paper
lunchroom.
Hey.
Actually, that's not funny. That really happened. So anyway, we're talking about Community.
Yes.
A TV show.
Yes. A TV show, which I don't think we've talked about TV in a while.
We're doing it now.
Yeah, we are.
Pay attention.
I am.
Yeah, it was on NBC from 2009 to actually don't know when to, because I know that it went till 2015 on Yahoo Screen.
Yeah.
And it was 3 seasons with Dan Harmon in the lead. Then Dan Harmon was fired.
Yes.
And then for the 4th season, they brought in 2 Yahoos who nobody even remembers their names. Was Moses Port and David Garaschio. I'm not sure how to say his name exactly. And they were from something else. They created a CW show, had really done nothing at all, but I guess were seen as the guys that could take this over.
Sure.
They couldn't.
It didn't go well.
They couldn't because they were not good at it.
Yep.
At the end of the 4th season, apparently the way the story is told is Joel McHale just went, you got to get Dan back. So here's what we're going to do. And he went to all the cast members and was like, I'm going to go to the network because I'm the guy from the soup and I'm going to say, get Dan back or we walk because this isn't working. Right. But little did they know, the network was like, we got to get Dan back because this is not working.
Right.
And at this point, like, it's a Sony-owned show, right? So it isn't, NBC's not totally invested in it, but if we can make X amount of episodes, then we can sell it into syndication and everybody gets paid. Right. Which they didn't actually hit the typical 100 episodes that you need for syndication, but they did sell it into syndication eventually. Okay. After a 5th season that was sort of critically mixed and also ratings were abysmal. Yeah. Then NBC sold it off to Yahoo. Yes. For their Yahoo Screen. Yes. Which, they lost $40 million on. A lot of that was blamed on Community, but turns out wrong. Wrong. You just don't know how to run a network. Yeah. Because now, I'm sure in a couple months or weeks, we'll be seeing Netflix give us some very confusing and esoteric statistics about how good Community is doing.
I would not be surprised in the least.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that Yahoo Screen should have blamed that all on Community. I don't, like you said, I don't think they really knew what they were doing, and they didn't have a whole lot of stuff like for their network. It didn't seem like at the time. Yeah. It just seemed like it was very few.
I can't name anything other than Other Space.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. That's the only other thing I was thinking of.
The only Paul Feig thing that I enjoy. And really enjoy. He must have not been involved in that at all, because that's great.
Wow. But that only went for 1 season too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 6 episodes or something. It was very short.
Yeah, it was very short.
So, turns out that lady running around Yahoo didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, right. Surprise.
Yeah, here's some fun facts about Community. Of course, it's where Anthony and Joe Russo didn't get their start. They had done a movie called Welcome to Collinswood or something like that. Okay. And didn't they do You, Me, and Dupree or whatever?
I would not.
They had directed 2 small movies, but then did this and credit a lot of their success to it. I don't know how you go from making a second and a half tier sitcom for NBC to directing the most successful movie of all time.
Yeah, right.
But they did.
They did.
And now they're producing Extraction on Netflix, which is like, guys, don't pull a Lucas here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Lucas directs the biggest films of all time, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go hide on the ranch for a couple of years and then come back and futz with my movies.
Right. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, you were going to make a bunch of cool movies. Remember what happened? You didn't make any of them.
Yeah.
So I hope they make some movies. Speaking of making movies, Joe Russo, the more recognizable one, I think he's the one that does. He's the actor. Too,
oh, okay, sure.
Has said that he's not saying there will be, but he said that he thinks there will definitely be a Community movie.
I've heard a lot of the stars from the show also echoing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's the one who has to say so, right? Because
probably
he'll probably direct it or at least produce it.
Yeah.
And yeah, he said that he and Anthony would, love to do it.
Sure.
And still consider, those people to be sort of part of their family. And of course,
that would be awesome.
They're very busy producing crappy Netflix movies,
okay.
but yeah, schedule pending, they would love to do it.
I think that would be awesome.
Well,
just have them
we'll
direct it and have Dan Harmon write it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Write it. I was going to say, he would have to write it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, he's got a script he's sitting on, right? But that ain't how Dan Harmon works. That ain't how he works.
No.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And the composer for the series was Ludwig Göransson, the guy who just won a bunch of awards for The Mandalorian.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me that.
So
and I was just surprised by it just now.
Yeah. We're in the lunchroom.
Right.
That's the same guy as... I don't know.
Yeah. And I think he's done a great job with both of those.
And, yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of huge stars got their start on Community.
Yes.
No word on where the 88 is.
Oh.
But then again, nobody knows where the the Dandy Warhols.
Oh, yeah.
Who sang a long time ago, we used to be friends. Nobody can find them either.
Oh,
so.
really? Okay. All right.
Right?
I don't know.
Was it the Dandy Warhols?
Who sang that song? I'm pretty sure it was.
Why am I the host, the one that talks for 90% of the time, and the producer? You could easily be typing this stuff up and looking for it.
Okay,
it's too late.
Whoa.
It's too late.
Okay.
The world wonders. Yeah, so this is a show that... did you watch the show when it was on, first run?
Yeah, I did, absolutely.
What'd you think of it?
I really liked it. I didn't know what to expect because, and I think, this rewatch,
because you're
realize...
Because you're a Gemini?
What? What?
Shot by an arrow.
Why are you doing that?
It's from Kentucky Fried Movie. Don't worry
about
it.
Okay. It starts out and it seems kind of like it's a typical sitcom. And then it gets stranger in a wonderful way. And it goes to some weird and fantastical places. And I think I realized, this is really unique. And I really like and care about these characters, too. And they're all so different. And I think, having Abed who comments on everything, I don't know that we'd, necessarily seen something like that before in a sitcom.
It's called Herman's Head.
Oh, well, okay, all right.
And not just that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to stop you right there.
Oh, okay.
This should be completely ingratiating, right? This should be unbearable.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, right?
Well, it's very indulging in a lot of ways. So,
or not ingratiating. Irritating.
Irritating,
I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
This should be horrible. This should be the smuggest, most self-satisfied. Like Scrubs was doing this before. This is Scrubs, right?
I suppose.
This shouldn't work at all. Mm-hmm. And yet it does. And in my opinion, it does because Bruz was with the fuzz.
Whoa.
I don't know. Because it knows what it's doing. It's not. I think that if Dan Harmon set out to make a TV show that in a lot of ways paid homage to the TV shows of his youth, to the structure and conventions of a sitcom. But yet we can't just exist within the structures and conventions of a sitcom. Don't tell him I said this. He's the Picasso of sitcom writing.
Whoa.
If you look at Picasso's early work, and I'm not saying that he was a master, but his early work is amazing. He shows he was a very talented young painter who, if he had continued to stay in the, realism sort of realm, could have rivaled, your Goyas or your whatevers.
Right.
But I think very early on, he felt bored by convention and was like, why would I want to continue to practice to be somebody who just draws things realistically? I want to push the bounds of stuff.
Yes.
And he became, Picasso.
Right.
And I think that's Dan Harmon in a lot of ways. He grew up watching all these shows.
Yes.
He's very smart and they're very important to him. And so he's broken them down in his mind. And so, yes, he wants to do bits. He wants to do things. We're doing a thing. This relationship is from Cheers. This relationship is kind of like, somebody else, Sanford and Son or whatever. But he wants to also let you know that he knows through a character like Abed, and then try to send it someplace different, or at the very least, someplace emotionally satisfying. It's never just a thing for no reason, except in the 4th season. Those guys thought, we got to top this. It's all about references and bits, and we can do this. And they forgot that, no, ultimately, it's all about these broken characters finding solace in each other. Whatever RoboCop or we're doing this week, that was never really what it was about. That's the wrapping, and the emotion and pathos is the present.
Whoa, sniff. I think somehow even though these characters seem kind of conventional when you first meet them, you really care about them, and then you like you talked about, you see them grow throughout the seasons and change and become better, and largely because they're...
Do they become better?
I think that they're better. I mean, that they're like depending on each other. They're working through their problems.
They become closer.
Well, yeah, they become closer.
I don't know how much better they become.
I mean, I guess, yeah, Pierce isn't necessarily better.
I mean, but like, what are they all doing? Like, Troy's repairing air conditioners? Like, if Dan Harmon had been given, and as far as I can tell, if they had just given him a 4th season and then canceled him, I think we would have got a well-made, completely unwatched by the public end to a 4-year college career, 4 years of Community, and I think it would have been great. But taking that last year away meant that you'd have this itch that was never scratched, and you'd have to keep trying to do stuff, and it just kind of runs down. I mean, it ends in, I guess, an emotionally satisfying place, but these characters are not happy, and I don't think that they ever would have been completely happy, but I think, cutting the legs out of it after 3 years meant that we would never have whatever the original end was, or whatever the satisfying thing is. I always go back to, with Dan Harmon's writing, the Rick and Morty speech where he's like, nobody belongs anywhere, we're all going to die, let's watch TV. Right. That's like, there is no satisfaction, there is no Kimmy Schmidt end where you write a bunch of popular books and you have an amusement park and you reconcile with your mom. That's not the world of Dan Harmon. He doesn't believe in endings like that. We're all gonna have to face death. It's a comedy show,
right?
And and we all are gonna be happy and not happy and alternating times. And so there's just the only thing that you can have is just to enjoy life where you are, and make your friends happy and create things and just do your best to get by.
Right.
Which is like both uplifting and depressing at the same time, and that's Dan Harmon's output.
Yeah, right. I mean, do you want to talk about the specific episodes that we watched at all?
We could. I mean, we watched the first 7 episodes.
Yes.
And we did it for a reason. Oh, episode 7, directed by Justin Lin, by the way.
Okay. I know that name. I'm terrible with names. But I know
4 Fast and Furious movies,
Oh,
Star
okay.
Trek Beyond.
Okay.
Basically, the whole second season of True Detective.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Can't take you anywhere.
I know.
Hot Wheels
Hot Wheels.
in 2023.
Wow.
And we talked about these. Well, it'll become clear why we pick these episodes as we go on here. But pilot directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, credited together.
Yes.
They're credited individually later, and I don't know if they just worked individually or if it's a Coen Brothers thing where they just sort of like
Decided.
trade off or whatever.
Right. Okay.
But what I like about this show is that I almost stopped watching it.
Did you really?
Yes.
When was that?
They plugged the hell out of it. 2009. You couldn't not see a commercial with the guy from The Soup, and Chevy Chase.
Right.
The new old grandpa Chevy Chase.
Right.
Just making jokes with each other, and then checking the show out. It's called Community. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go for that.
Right.
And I started watching it, and I was like, this is a real pleasant, very conventional sitcom. And when we got to I think the 3rd episode is where John Michael Higgins, is like, seize the day, and he's the professor who's thinks he's Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society.
Oh yeah.
Which they call out.
Yeah.
But the episode ends with basically him Jeff kind of seizing the day, and that guy, that character being, I didn't expect him to get hit by a meteor, but him being validated in that. And I was like, okay, so this is just sort of like a Toothless show, that has pop culture references and stuff like that.
Right.
And the next episode was just weird enough that it sort of kept me going, because that's the episode where John Oliver comes back and they do the Duncan method or whatever, where
right,
where they're keeping everybody in the room.
Yeah.
And that was just weird enough that I was like, okay, I'll keep watching it, I guess, but I've kind of written this off. This is just, I don't watch sitcoms generally because they're designed to appeal to the greatest amount of people, meaning they'll please nobody.
Yeah, right.
But the 5th episode is my favorite episode of the show, the entire show.
Is that right?
Not because of the complexity of its gags or whatever, but because that's when the rug is pulled out. That's when we learn that we're not watching the show that we thought we were. And it all centers around, Britta, the sort of pretty and sort of pleasant but kind of bland love interest of Joel McHale's character.
Yes.
It's revealed that she cheated on this test.
Yes.
And you learn that the paragon, the girl, the what's the actress's name? I can't remember. The Pushing Daisies girl.
Yeah.
The girl that we're trying to reach and we're trying to get to her. It turns out no, she sucks and she's kind of a bad person and she's insecure just like everybody else on the show.
Right.
That was like a revelation to me.
Right.
I couldn't believe that they did that. And then she didn't, it wasn't just like a one-time thing. She didn't go back to being
perfect
that character. She stayed that character. And then, the next episode's about football, which is fine, with Troy. And then the 7th episode is the Dios de los Muertos episode.
Yeah.
With Abed Batman.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, oh, this is something else.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere else now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until many years later that I looked back and went, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dan Harmon delivered 6 completely normal, NBC sitcom episodes with a little bit of snark.
Right.
That would fly right by an NBC executive like, oh, fine, okay, this is great. All right, well, we'll see you at the wrap party or whatever. And are they gone? Okay, put the Batman costume on. Dress up like Eddie Murphy and Raw. Let's do this.
I know.
And he couldn't have, this show wouldn't have worked if it had started off, first episode, it's chicken fingers.
No.
Or something like that.
You need to build up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's a TV show and you need viewers. And, they had a pretty good, debut and then they just hemorrhaged viewers for the rest of the season until, paintball.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
You
another
can't
great episode.
you can make a movie like that.
Uh-huh.
You can't make a TV show like that because people won't tune in.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what it's almost what happened to me. But I love the fact that they had the bravery and they were clever enough to lay like a trap for that, to subvert your expectations, a phrase that we all hate now.
Yeah.
Love or hate Last Jedi. I think we can all agree we all hate that phrase now.
Yeah.
But it worked in a way that made you go, this is going to be a completely different thing now. We're going somewhere different. This is a ride.
Yeah.
And the ride will be much more enjoyable if, like Dan Harmon, you understand the tropes of a sitcom and how they're sort of violating them.
Yeah.
And all it cost was one Britta.
Whoa.
I think they sold out Britta.
Really?
She wasn't good as the character, the fake Britta, in the first couple episodes. But I don't feel like she ever
gets redeemed,
rose above or too far above the caricature that they make fun of her for being.
Right,
she's just like an angry lesbian or whatever, And it's like she never really, for me, goes above that. She is, I think, way too often the punchline of those kind of jokes. But because she's part of the group and we like her, we kind of like let it go and think, oh, that's not true. But it's kind of true.
Yeah.
And I always admired, because she's my favorite character on the show, and I always admire Dan Harmon for saying the same thing and also saying that, like, she is me. Like, when I think of this show, Jeff is who I want to be. Britta is who I am.
Right.
But she's just sort of like the butt of all the jokes for the whole show. And I think I realized either consciously or unconsciously, he says that so to keep us, from realizing that she's just the butt of every joke.
She kind of is.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that the Batman Halloween was the very first Halloween, and I mean, I think they they just pushed it as far as they could go. And like, I mean, there's just so many great moments. It's probably one of my favorite episodes. I freaking love Abed as Batman. Like, he's perfect as Batman. He's got the Christian Bale Batman voice, and then like when he saves Jeff and Pierce from the pillow fort as it's like coming down, it's just like perfect Batman.
It's not a pillow fort.
Oh no, you're right.
That's a later season.
It's a chair fort.
Yeah.
Even more dangerous.
Made by the Beastmaster.
Yeah, made by the Beastmaster, which was another great thing. Like, I think when I saw it, I hadn't seen the Beastmaster yet, so I didn't know what the Beastmaster was. But and now having seen the Beastmaster, I think it's just great. And then we learn later in the episode that even Pierce hasn't seen the Beastmaster. He just wanted to be cool, but he picked something that, like, not that many people necessarily remember. You know what I mean? So even in him trying to be cool, he wasn't really cool.
Yeah. Community.
Exactly. And then, like, also just rewatching this, it's amazing to me, like, how early on some things happened. Like the Biblioteca, like, rap that Troy and Abed do.
It was the first tag.
Yeah. Episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2. That is crazy to me. And then you see Troy and Abed doing a lot of the tags, like in the Halloween episode. It's maybe not as funny to me as the Biblioteca rap, but it's still pretty funny, and they're doing it in the Batman voice.
Yeah.
And then also, I love too, like, so Annie has done the party. She's organized the whole thing, but she's really uptight about it because she was never the cool kid.
Yeah, right.
And she's got this skeleton costume with a cape, and she's talking to Britta, and she's like, "Oh, Britta, you're so cute." And Britta's like in like this squirrel costume, like,
yeah, like just the dumpy kind of squirrel costume,
right?
Yeah.
Just dumpy, kind of funny squirrel costume. And she says to Annie, "I hate it when women feel like they have to dress up like sluts at Halloween." And she's like, "Yeah," and then she takes off her cape and she's in this skin tight like skeleton costume.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's just so many great moments.
Tell me about Woodstock, Pierce.
Yes, I know.
And the Beatles.
Sputnik.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was so great. And then, like, yeah, Pierce taking something that Starburst gave him, and like he's totally freaking out. I mean, that was just, yeah, it was unexpected, and I think by the time you see that episode, you know that this show is more than it seemed at first.
It's funny to me because, and I've never watched. These aired, as you'd imagine, way out of order from production, and that's not always. Sometimes that's by design. Like the end of this season is like the dance or whatever when they do their school dance one, and Jeff and Annie, kiss or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean they've kissed before, but they have like a romantic kiss. So that's how you end the season one, right?
Uh-huh.
But that was made like before a couple of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never watched the DVD to see them in order. I wonder if they changed the order on the DVD at all.
Oh,
because there's one like the episode right before they unveil the Luis Guzman statue.
Yes,
you see the Luis Guzman statue like on campus. So clearly that was like the football one was supposed to be the third episode, and I think they decided to kick that, ironically, down the road.
Oh, okay.
But that's fine. That happens on all TV shows.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to complain about the order because I think it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
But eventually, the show became famous for its events, and then it kind of became kind of about the events. You're sort of like a victim of your success because now we've got to deliver like
now
these
people are expecting
escalating sort of things. But they kept delivering.
Yeah, they did.
So continuing to victimize themselves. What else?
Yeah, the D&D episode was really great, and yeah,
and the composer Ludwig, like he worked on all the. I'm sure they brought Schlesinger and they probably brought like a ringer in for some of the poppier songs, but like all the songs that there's a lot of music on the show, the Glee episode but he did all that. Like he did
crazy.
the claymation episode. There's a lot of music in that, and so.
Yeah. It's great. I think also just rewatching these, it's interesting to see how many elements and characters were there from more or less the beginning. I mean, there are so many side characters in this. I think people have equated it a little bit to, I mean, maybe it's not as much as Parks and Rec, but a little bit to like The Simpsons or, like it kind of feels almost more like an animated show in some ways because it has so many other supporting characters like Starburns and Leonard and and even like Senior Chang, even though he's kind of more of a he's pretty more front and center than some of them,
right?
But and then I forgot too that John Oliver was in this, and it's just like for a little while. Yeah, I know.
And then he, gets successful, doing something else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you and kind of don't.
All right.
I actually just watched, they made a series of fake commercials for Greendale as a promotional thing.
Okay.
That I think are on the first season DVD, and Dan plays like the assistant dean or something like that, and so he hosts these things, and Magnitude is one of the actors in them, but he's clearly not Magnitude yet.
Oh, okay.
Pop
oh yeah, okay.
But he was clearly somebody who they had hired as an extra or to be in the production, and we're like, well, this guy's got chops, let's make him Magnitude.
Right.
So I think it all just came from that. It was just like, I don't know the history of that actor, but if he was just a guy who was, we needed, like, it's funny that a really old guy's at this.
Right.
Older than Pierce.
Yes.
But then when he can deliver lines, then it's like, let's have him do frozen pizza reviews. Like,
exactly.
Why not? But the part where I disagree with you is, like, it's so fun. Or I just want to point out that it's funny to me that they nailed this with the casting from day one.
Yeah.
Like, all of these performers are all the best people that you could have gotten for all these roles.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if there's some story about, firing Stuart Townsend the first day or something like that I don't know about, well, okay. But the 7 that they got are all perfect for their roles, but I think they must have become those roles, and I think the roles changed and developed based on who was cast. Because if you watch the pilot, And like all pilots, it was shot, way before
everything
episode
else.
2 was.
Yeah.
Their characters are different. They are not the characters that we see in the show going forward. And the characters develop over the course of the show, because of course they do. But like Abed is very different. Clearly the note was, you are autistic and we're going to do with that what we can.
Right.
And like Chevy Chase is not, they're not letting him go full Chevy Chase. Like Pierce seems like kind of a functioning human being.
Yeah,
he's not like the total weirdo that he becomes. Mm-hmm. And Troy is obviously just like, you are
a jock.
Yeah, jock.
Yeah.
Angry black kid who doesn't want to be at the school, and like that all changes not just because they get closer to each other over the course of this first season, but I think like the directions of the characters all change. Mm-hmm. And it's weird to think that they hired 7 people to do these versions of the characters that were not what the characters would end up being. Mm-hmm. Like, why didn't they hire different people? But the fact of the matter is, they were perfect for their original vision of the characters, but also were the perfect people to help develop those characters into the iconic characters who would all fit with each other and complement each other.
Right.
To the point where, and I pointed this out, and you continued to like point it out to me, so apparently you'd never thought of this before, but every episode is the writers just going, all right, let's pair them up.
Yeah,
Jeff and Shirley are going to do something now, or let's put Annie with Pierce and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And it just works. Like everybody works with everybody else.
It works, and it's
one of my favorite episodes. Sorry,
Go
is
ahead.
Abed and Shirley. You think like, well, what are you going to do there? That's the one where he's doing he's making a movie about himself called Abed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it becomes like. She's mad that it's sacrilegious.
Right.
Because he's become this, like, Jesus-like figure, and so she wants to stop his movie from happening. But then he becomes, like, trapped in the movie, and he, like, wants her to... She reconciles with it and thinks, well, it's his right to do it. But then he's like, I can't get out of this movie. So she's, like, comes out with a bat and, like, destroys all the equipment and stuff like that.
Well, one of my favorite parts of one of these first episodes is when they pair up Jeff and Shirley, because you're thinking like at the beginning of the episode, I think he says to Britta like I have to walk across campus, and so does Shirley, and it's such a long walk, and what are we going to talk about? She always says things are nice, and so he's thinking, we won't have anything in common,
right?
And then lo and behold, we see another day, they end up walking across campus together, and they enjoy the heck out of gossiping with each other.
Right.
And they bond, and it's this special thing, but it's something bad, and they shouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. And that leads to foosball.
Yeah.
In season 2, I think,
uh-huh.
where we find out that I guess everybody's just lived in the same town, whatever town this is,
right.
their whole lives. But when he was a kid, he was humiliated by a girl playing foosball, and they called her Big Cheddar, and he finds out that was Shirley.
I've forgotten about that
because they're about the same age. Although I think in real life, he's way older than she is. But so they have to have like a climactic
foosball
tournament, and that's the anime episode where they're like, ah.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's great. I think it's really cool to see two characters paired up with each other. You're like, well, how is this going to work? And it just does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, any final thoughts about Community?
I think it's probably one of my favorite sitcoms ever. That's what I think.
Better than Cheers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, it's only 69 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Really?
This first season.
Well, I don't agree with that at all.
Well, maybe it's the critics, got a screener of the first 6 episodes, and we're like,
it's okay. Yeah, right. You wonder if some people will re-review it now that it's available on streaming. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yes, it absolutely. Yes, it is. Yes. 90% of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are all
newer reviews.
Yeah, 25-year-old fat guys who are just watching it on streaming. Yeah,
right. All right.
That's why all the reviews are so skewed.
Right.
I grew up watching Space Jam, so I don't know. I just love it. A+.
Yeah.
And so Space Jam has like a 70 something on Metacritic or on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's just like that is
not accurate.
That
for
is
the
a
time
crime
when it
against
came out.
reviewing.
Yeah, right. No, I don't disagree.
It's great, like all great things, and definitely like all TV shows, it is destined to become bad one day. And I think it became bad in the drop to badness was a shallow grade. You know what I mean? Like season 6, not great, but has some high points and moments. I don't know why we needed a Paget Brewster. I don't know what she really adds to it.
Yeah.
But we got her all the same.
Yep.
Keith David is in it.
Keith David's great.
He is, but his character's also kind of a flame out a little bit.
Yeah.
And we got, what's his name? Mike Ehrmantraut, too.
Right.
For some reason.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, after a while, like I know that they split the difference because I think Dan always thought that we would do 4 years, and if the show goes on, then let's just have them. They can still be friends outside of the school. Let's have them go into we'll just change venues and go into their lives.
Right.
And when he came back after season 3, it was like, I'll tell you what, we'll split the difference. So we'll be comfortable taking the show off campus, but we'll still have them taking classes, and then that's where we get like. Mike Ehrmantraut and Keith David as like new teachers.
Right.
But for me, 6 seasons in, they probably shouldn't be going to this school.
To the
still.
school anymore. Yeah,
Although you could argue, people who go to community college sometimes just kind of go there, like Pierce, like to just go there.
Right.
But that's not what we wanted for any of these characters.
No, we want them to graduate and go on and do better things with their lives. Yeah, for sure.
But life had other plans.
Right, that sounds very sitcom-y, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'm not good enough to make it something fresh and better.
Oh no,
it's just
fine.
that.
Yeah. I would be interested in seeing a movie. I would like to see what they would do with it. How about you? Would you be interested?
What could you
in
do?
Seeing? I don't know.
Would
you go like several years in the future?
Oh, I'm just thinking about the gimmick.
Oh yeah.
You have to do. There's a lot of jokes about other TV shows that have become movies, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Star Trek.
I think we'll get some Star Trek jokes in there. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maverick.
Sure.
A Maverick joke.
Yeah. 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 Was there ever a MacGyver movie? Because
No.
okay.
Well, there was a MacGruber movie.
Oh, that's right. Okay. What are other TV shows that have had a movie?
Downton Abbey.
Oh, there you go. That'd be a good one to make fun of, right?
I don't know. Do you think so?
I don't know.
What are the jokes?
See why not?
That sounds like a real SNL to me.
Yeah, I guess.
But not SNL at home because they don't have the costumes.
Right.
So that's it. That's our word on Community. Not the definitive word, but, just a look at what makes it good and talking about the first season, first couple episodes.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite episode as we somehow go back into the topic?
I don't know. That first Halloween episode is definitely up there. I like the D&D episode a lot, too.
I just watched that again the other day.
Did you?
And yeah,
Does it hold up?
Really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just its construction. And when you think about the fact that, a lot of the best scenes or best dialogue, whatever, is them in the study room. But it basically takes place just in the study room. It's a bottle episode. Mm-hmm. And yet they make it, they just make, it's like, it's cliched, but it's like a game of D&D. Like, they take it, all these different places.
It's great.
And it's about a guy that wants to kill himself.
Yeah, I know.
So, it's just like, it's that perfect marriage of, just like deep melancholy and
humor.
Bing Bong the Archer.
Right.
Jokes about pop culture.
What is that? episode where they're stuck in the study room and like there's a monkey?
Yes, the monkey stole the pen, and
yes, that was a really good one.
That was a bottle episode.
Yeah,
about bottle episodes.
Right. Right. I really like that one.
That's something else. Once you have a character like Abed and a premise like that, anytime that you want to do just a logistical thing that you have to do because of the day-to-day making of a TV show, you're both like you have the advantage of being able to get material and grist for the mill out of it, but you're locked into doing it. So if you just want to do a bottle episode, you have to talk about how it's a bottle episode.
Right.
And then if you're going to do another bottle episode, you have to disguise the fact that it's a bottle episode, or you have to talk about it being a bottle episode again.
Right.
I would say Chicken Fingers, because
that's a really good one
Chicken
too.
Fingers is the first time, up to that point I knew that they were doing things and pastiches and stuff like that, but it was the first time that I felt rewarded for knowing what they were talking about.
Sure, yeah.
Because they set it up and you don't know exactly where it's going, and then they pause, and Abed's like, ever since I was little, I always wanted to. Yeah. It's just like, oh, okay, all right.
I know where we are.
I know where we're going.
Yeah.
That, and then I can't remember if this is season 2 or season 3, but the episode about the show, it's got to be season 2, because it's revealed, I think, in that episode that Jeff and Britta have been doing it the whole time. And it's an episode that's just assembled from like cut clips from episodes that never happened,
that we haven't seen.
Yeah,
that was another really
so like
great
when
one.
they go to the ghost town or whatever, and they're they're getting out of the water and they're all wet, and Troy's like, anybody who's seen cartoons knows that when you pop the back of a raft you go faster. And then Jeff's final speech is just like an assemblage of his speeches from all these other fake episodes.
Right.
Like, how does that even... Would you come into the writer's room one day and you go, guys, listen up, I got an idea. Like, how does that even come about? How do you even assemble that?
I know. I think maybe you just start talking about, like, tropes that you see in sitcoms, and you're like, how can we turn that on its head?
Yeah. That's like, for me, that's why, like, Rick and Morty, God knows what people like about that show. I mean, there's a lot of things to like, but I think, we've seen that people... there's a negative aspect to the fandom of that show.
There is.
But for me, every episode is like an event episode of Community, because it's basically like, how do we fit two premises together and take them all the way? So there's the like the heist episode or whatever.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Or
actually.
There's the Nightmare on Elm Street Dream one,
yes,
which is also
that was another really
dogs
good
take over the world episode. So they like mash these two premises together. And that started with Community.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. And I mean, you can do so much with animation that you can't do with like actors. You don't think
Donald Glover's pretty expressive.
Well, yeah, he is.
Well,
I suppose.
I think that's it for us this week. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, social medias. Go find us there. Talk to us. Also, go to your listening platform of choice, iTunes, whatever. Subscribe to us. Rate the show. Give us a review. We'd appreciate it. It really does help out. And that's why you got to help those algorithms know that we're doing good. Mm-hmm. So give us 5 dancing Al Gores, because that's the Al Gore rhythm.
Right.
And... maybe they could do something with that on the show. I don't know.
I think they probably could.
That's another thing that the show really mastered, was telling a really lame joke in the first act and then like taking it to the ultimate extreme. So in any other sitcom, Troy pranks Abed, then Abed, does something else, and he's got some prank at the end, and we all learn you shouldn't prank. But instead, he immediately does a bad prank, but then the prank becomes a slow boil that goes to the end. But Troy was never fooled by the prank, but it just becomes like a reaffirmation of their relationship. But also, Abed's really weird.
Yes, exactly.
That's how you do it. Community style. So we'll be back next week, talk about something else. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.